10 years ago, 2011, was a high point in military spending in the United States. 4.5% of our GDP went to fight the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, to build up the military over the whole 10-year period since 9/11 had happened. It was a time in which military spending pushed aside other important social needs, dealing with our infrastructure, which has now caught up to us, dealing with our housing problem that has now caught up to us, ameliorating the problems in our educational system, medical care system, which have come crashing down around us. It was an important milestone, and I want to talk briefly about it. But also 10 years ago, we began this program, Economic Update, hoping to demonstrate that all of these kinds of problems have a systemic root. They're about problems of capitalism, and failure to understand that is a major cause of failure to solve those problems, to kick them down the road when they only become worse. And another goal of Economic Update was to provide a way out, to show how and why system change, beginning in the corporation, in the enterprise, by democratizing it, is a way forward. We have had enormous success. Our audience has grown far beyond anything we ever dreamed possible. To mark the anniversary, the 10th, we're going to be talking about some of the issues back then and how they've evolved to now. Defense spending is still an enormous part of our budget. Let me give you just one way to understand it. All corporate taxes to the federal government amount to 1% of our GDP, one of the lowest rates in the last half century. But the proportion of the government's budget in terms of its cost to the GDP that goes to the military is 3.5%. In other words, corporations, all of them, pay a small fraction of the amount of money given back in contracts to the military-industrial complex. They are the winners in the budget battle, year in and year out, in a way that makes all other industries jealous and should make Americans wonder. We have 800 plus bases around the country. No other country on earth comes anywhere near such an outlay, such an enormous military domination of the world. Not only that, we spend more on military than the next 8 or 9 countries combined, and that includes Russia and China. The rest of them are US allies. One has to wonder what is going on with this kind of spending. And let me get at it in yet another way. If you look at the terrible 20-year wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, the longest wars in US history, costing, the estimates are, between $2 and $3 trillion if you combine them. Who are the winners and the losers in these longest, terrible U.S. wars? Certainly not the soldiers who died, who were wounded, who come back carrying the mental health scars that will haunt them the rest of their lives. Likewise, the tens of thousands killed and wounded and injured, directly and indirectly, military and civilian, in both of those countries. They weren't winners either. Well, did the United States win some gains in geopolitical terms? I don't think so. The United States is leaving, according to President Biden, Afghanistan in September. without any conditions. In most history books, when one side invades another and then leaves without conditions, we refer to the society that came with its troops as having lost the war, not winning. The attitude of an enormous part of the Muslim world is very critical of the United States for having carried on a bitter, destructive war against two Muslim countries, Afghanistan and Iraq, for 20 years. This is going to cost us. The Muslim world is a very large, very aware part of this world. We didn't win, friends. The Taliban is as strong today in Afghanistan as it was when we got there 20 years ago. And the government and people of Iraq have made no secret of their eagerness for the United States to go. No clear winner there either. But there is one group that did win, didn't lose anything. The military-industrial complex. The collection of corporations that produce the guns, the missiles, the tanks, the planes, all of that, who equip the military, move the military, all the rest. They got tons of good contracts, huge profits, year in, year out. They were unambiguous winners. And in that fact, and in their loneliness as the only winners, are lessons none of us should fail to learn and think long and hard about. Programs like this, just like Economic Update each week, are not possible without your support. As a very active audience, as a group of people that encourage us and inspire us. We couldn't do this without you. It really is a program dependent on you. So we ask in this moment, think about supporting us also with a donation. Best of all, a monthly donation, because the regularity of such monthly donations allows us to plan and to build with a strategy which we hope in the next 10 years will be as remarkably effective as the last 10 were. You can find out how to donate, monthly or otherwise, at our website, democracyatwork.info. Thank you for your attention. This is Richard Wolff for Democracy at Work.